So you play Alfred.
Yes, I do, yeah.
So I wanted to ask, where does your inspiration for the way you play the character come from?
Well, it really comes from Bruno's writing, I have to say. Sensibly, it comes from his writing. The mythology is extremely well known. This is it is a slightly different version, but it has all of the attributes, all of the character traits that are in the later books. But we're not reinventing, but we're redefining the characters. So that there is history. The fact that he was in the Royal Marines, the British Armed Forces, and he was in the Commander Regiment. He was seconded to the SAS. He came over to aid his ailing father, who was called Jarvis, who was the butler to the Waynes, who passed away, and then he took the gauntlet of being the valet. So he blames himself very much for not being there the night that Martha and Thomas are assassinated or shot. And he makes this Bushido-like oath to defend Bruce to the day he dies, which he does. So there's this kind of bizarre relationship where he doesn't die, sort of sign on the dotted line to become a father figure, but inexorably he does.
Because I've always watched Batman from the adult Bruce Wayne perspective, but I was very curious to see the interaction between Alfred and the young Bruce Wayne. And how do you think it is for an adult male in the caretaker position to still be kind of subversive to the Bruce Wayne child?
That's an interesting one, because the thing is, I have a son myself who's virtually the same age. In fact, he played with David when he was here. So I only have to put the situation, whenever we're in a tricky situation like that, of a decision that has to be made in a scene, you put yourself and say, what would that be like if it was my son? So it's something to draw from, but there's a definite rage, there's a definite discombobulation with Bruce and with Alfred, which sort of comes to fruition when he dons the cowl, because Alfred does act as an enabler, and he basically trains and teaches Bruce Wayne to become Batman. So it's an extraordinary relationship. But although he's a father figure and a valet, but he's also considered an equal. He loves him, he cares about him, he fights for him, he argues with him, all of those things. So it's a really multifaceted role.
How do you see the relationship evolving over the course of the Gotham season?
Well, it's changing already, because we shoot chronologically. The story's developing and our relationship's developing, from one of being where he's in the depths of despair, to for Alfred, inexperienced. He's not a father, he hasn't got a child, to try and bring him out of this. But slowly but surely he finds a way. They both find a way for something for Bruce to focus on. And then the physicality starts, and that's where my Marine training comes in, and I start to teach him how to fight.